10th of July, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua with Rashi, Pinhas.
Okay. Right, let's go. Let's make a start here. Okay, Mayor.
Okay. Let me just click this. Okay. Okay. So this says
Parsha's Pinhas.
Pinhas. It says Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor. Pinhas ben Elazar ben Aharon haKohen Heshiv et Chamati. Okay, this is Hashem speaking. May all bnei Yisrael bekan o et kinati b'tocham v'lo chiliti et bnei Yisrael b'kinati. Okay, so we get introduced to Pinhas.
We actually have been introduced to him at the end of last week's Parsha.
Oh yeah, right.
Before. Vayar Pinhas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen.
Mm-hmm. Now we have his full name, I think.
Okay, we'll see in a second why why Dafka mentions Pinhas ben Elazar ben Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and doesn't go further back. Okay.
Right.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, let's translate the pasuk here.
Okay, so it says Pinhas, the son of Elazar, the son of Aaron the Kohen, Heshiv, returned my anger.
I translate as withdrew.
Oh, withdrew. Oh, okay.
Brought back.
Okay, brought back my anger from on the children of Israel. Kinato et kinati.
When he was zealous, we'll see in the Rashi, and Rashi is going to dwell on this, what the meaning of this is. When he was zealous for the how I should say that, the zealousness which I should have had, that's what Rashi is going to explain.
Oh, okay.
If HaKadosh Baruch Hu had shown his feelings of zealousness about what was happening, had Hashem acted upon it, it would have had devastating results. Instead, Pinchas did something,
Right,
which was also an act of zealousness, and as a result of his act of zealousness, that withdrew HaKadosh Baruch Hu's anger from upon Klal Yisrael.
Now, I notice in my English, it uses the word zealous and the word vengeance, kind of arbitrarily.
So we'll see what Rashi says. Rashi says, "Benokmoes nikmasi."
okay.
We'll see when we get to the Rashi. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Carry on. Below chilisias b'nei Yisrael b'kinosi, and as a result of Pinchas's action, I did not wipe out the b'nei Yisrael b'kinosi with my zealousness.
So, okay, well, we'll do Rashi. I have a question though about that.
Okay.
Okay, so Rashi says Pinhas ben Elazar ben Aharon HaKohen. Lefi shehayu hashvatim mivazim oto. Let's see, because the tribes mivazim
Were belittling, deriding him.
Oh, wow. Okay. Haritem ben Putizeh. Is that a question?
Right? Hari Isem, have you seen Ben Putizeh, this son of Puti?
Shepitem avi imo agalim la'avodat zara. Okay, so who's the father? What? That's fattened cows, I guess, or agalim is a calf, calves.
Yeah.
Okay, la'avodat zara for idolatry. Oh, the harag nisi shevet miYisrael. And he killed the Nasi of the Shevet of Israel. Okay, lefikach ba hakatuv. So that's why the Torah comes to say, "Vayichaso achar Aharon." Oh, and traces his
Lineage.
his lineage. Okay, to Aaron.
Meaning to indicate that this act of zealousness, this act of vengeance, which Pinhas carried out, right, was stemmed from his ancestor Aaron, and did not stem from this Abi Imoy Agolem L'Avodah Zarah. Now, just to understand this Rashi, and maybe to give us an exact idea what's going on here, I refer you to a Rashi. I don't know if you have a Chumash Shmois over here. It's actually based on a Gemara, I think in Baba Basra. Just one second. The Gemara says that Pinchas's mother says that Elazar, his father was Pinchas ben Elazar, right? His father was Elazar, the son of Aaron. And in Parshas Va'era, Sefer Shmois, the Torah says that Elazar took Mibnois Putiel lo leisha. He took from the daughters of Putiel. Okay, so who is this Putiel? So the Gemara says two explanations. Benois Putiel means it's referring to Yisroel. Okay, Shepitem Agolim L'Avodah Zarah. Putiel means he fattened for gods.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What would that be? What was that? Let me see in a second. Yeah. Chapter 6, Shmois, chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6, Pasuk 25, Chofei. Ve'elazar ben Aaron lokach lo mibnois Putiel lo leisha, va'ateled lo es Pinchas. She bore him Pinchas. Okay, so his mother was Putiel. Okay, that's why Rashi says. Okay, so this is what Rashi is referring to. Hari Isem ben Putizeh shepitem avi imoy, the father of his mother, Agolim L'Avodah Zarah. So this is referring to the pshat that his maternal grandfather was Yisroi, who would fatten up calves for Avodah Zarah. Okay, the Gemara has a second opinion. Gemara says, who's Putiel? Putiel is really another name for Yosef. Why is he called Putiel? Shepit peit beyitzroi. which means like he made light of his Yetzer Hara, which means, in other words, that he had full control over his Yetzer Hara. And we're referring specifically to the Maisa with the wife of Potiphar, that she tried to entice Yosef in all sorts of ways, even in, let's call it, ways. How she said to him, you know, I see in my astrology that we're going to be together in Olam Haba. So you see, you're destined for me. Okay? So Yosef not just had to fight his physical desires, he really had to justify that. You know, sometimes the Yetzer Hara comes along with a frum appearance and says, you know, it's a mitzvah way to do this. When one has to really use one's seichel and to understand that it's not necessarily a mitzvah. Okay, anyway, akoponim. So this is what the people. What's the notion? Shahayu hashvatim mevazimosei means the other tribes were
Making fun of him.
Insulting him.
Insulting.
Belittling him. Yeah, they were disgracing him and saying, "Yeah, this guy, he's. You know what the drive, the motive behind this killing, which he did? He's the grandson of Yisro, who fattened up a golem l'avodah zarah." Now you're going to ask the question: what's one got to do with the other? What's the fact that he killed Zimri got to do with the fact his grandfather fattened up a golem l'avodah zarah? So the idea is as follows, and this is very interesting, that his two descendants, in fact, the Gemara concludes there that both are true, that the wife of Elazar, who was the mother of Pinhas, she descended both from Yisro and from Yosef. It depends on one from the father's side, and one from her mother's side. Anyway, akoponim. But what is interesting is that l'chayra, let's analyze somebody who fattens up calves for avodah zarah. Now, you can have somebody who serves avodah zarah on an occasional basis, which means, well, first of all, let's understand as well, what is avodah zarah? What is it? What is a person doing? A person is really deluding himself into thinking that this idol has a certain power. In a way, once explained it, it's just like a person has a desire for food, or even the other form of taiva, which we have, a desire for sexual relationship, right? Okay, so then both of those, if you analyze it, it's inexplicable, meaning when the part of desire, the person has a desire for it, a person will necessarily do something which goes against logic. Let's say I give an example. Person has a type for pizza, right? Now, if he has high cholesterol and he's overweight and he's got high blood pressure, okay? Now, does it make any logical sense that he should eat pizza? No, it's going to be dangerous for him. But if a person has a desire to eat it, right, means he sees it, there's a certain, Kodesh Baruch Hu put it into our psyche that there's an innate desire for certain things. There's an innate desire for food, innate desire for sexual relationship. And as we're going to see, we don't have that nowadays, but there was also an innate desire to connect to a spirituality. Okay? So let's take the example of the food, for instance. Akash Baruch Hu, why did give a person an innate desire to want food? Because Akash Baruch Hu created man with a need for food, that without eating food, he wouldn't survive. So therefore, in order to make sure that a person, so in the same, make it easier for a person to eat, rather than saying being busy with his business or busy with so many other things, Kosh Baruch Hu put into a person an innate desire to want to eat. And therefore, when he's hungry, he'll stop his work and he'll go and take himself a bite. Okay? But like any other desire, innate desire, it has to be controlled. So somebody who has full control over it, he'll only eat what needs for his, eat healthily. Somebody who does not control it, he's going to he'll do things, follow his desire, which go against logic. As an example, somebody's got high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart condition, whatever, and he goes and eats a pizza. He eats a whole pie, right? Because he loves it. What do you mean he loves it, right? It means he's got a desire for it. Okay, but he's letting his desire take control of him rather than him controlling the desire. Okay, similarly, now, in the times of Chazal, there was also a desire for spirituality, which in a way is, how should I say it? It's more allowing the Yetzer Hara to get the person in control of him, because normally, for instance, the desire to eat food or the desire for sexual relationship, right, is something physical. It's not something in the mind. Whereas the desire for spirituality, that's something in the mind. So when a person lets the Yetzer Hara, lets his desire, his taiva for spirituality get control of him, that means he's not just giving his body away to the Yetzer Hara, giving into his physical desires, he's even giving into what we're going to call a mental desire. Now, somebody who's occasionally serves Avodah Zarah, so occasionally he gives into his mental desire. Okay, we don't have that nowadays, so it's difficult for us to imagine, but there was such a thing. There was a mental desire to connect to a spiritual being. Okay, now somebody who does it occasionally, so occasionally gives in. Somebody who is a priest of Avodah Zarah, right, means he's really part of it, means he's, I can't say totally sold to the devil, but he's pretty much a partner with the devil, right, with his desire. Somebody who fattens up calves for Avodah Zarah means he's a goner, means he's totally given his mind away to his desire for his taiva for spirituality. That means his taiva spirituality has totally taken him over. Okay? That's one thing. Whereas Yosef was the total opposite. A person's strongest desire, physical desire, is for sexual relationship. And yet Yosef had full control over that desire. So he was the total two diametrically opposite characters. Yisro was totally sold to his desires, even his mental desires. And Yosef had full control of even his physical desires. Derech Agav, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give a person such a strong sexual desire? Is in order to keep the world going, in order we should get married. Okay? So Lamaisa over here, we got interesting that Pinhas, from his through his two maternal ancestors, okay, one being Yisro and other one being Yosef, he has like two opposite extremes. And this was the question over here. What was the drive that got Pinhas to do this action of killing Zimri? What was the drive? Was it a pure, should we say, an arousement of unbridled, uncontrolled desire? Because he got really angry, it really angered him. And he was out of uncontrolled desire, he went ahead and killed Zimri. And thereby he was following the character of Yisro, his grandfather Yisro, or on the contrary, was he following his grandfather Yosef, who had total control over his desires? And this act of killing Zimri did not stem from any unbridled desires. On the contrary, it was an act which was done cool, calm, and collectedly. It was done with full seichel. So that's what the Pasuk is telling you. That what was the motive of Pinhas in killing Zimri? To bring peace to Klal Yisrael. It was not done out of passionate anger. Right? It was done out of with full mind, sound body and mind, out of full control over his desires, and it was done out of a logical, thought out mental process, and he went ahead and killed him. In fact, the Gemara in Sanhedrin says that he didn't come. I always, as a kid, I always imagined, what happened here with Pinhas. Pinhas, what was going on? Pick some of the spear. Got him. Gemara says in the Sanhedrin says nothing of the kind. It says that Pinhas, he planned out exactly how he was going to kill Zimri. It was a well thought out plan. He dressed himself up with he hid the stick, the spear inside the stick, and he went to the camp of Shimon. And he said to the camp of Shimon, he says, it's not fair, you let your leader have time with this lady. I also want to turn. So the people of Shimon, the tribe of Shimon said, oh, he's one of us. Okay, come in. Anyway, he waited, obviously, before he went there, he waited till the end of the day. And Zimri was so busy with this lady that by the end of the day, he was so physically exhausted that he was almost absolutely no power to resist. And Pinchas Dafka did it in such a way that he should wait until the end of the day, that Zimri should be totally exhausted from his, his actions, and therefore that's why Jafka chose the end of the day. So the actual act of killing the Zimri with this lady, this Midianite lady, was done cool, calm, and collectedly. It was not done through passion or passionate anger or anything like that. So this is what the Torah tells us, that Pinchas's motivation and his drive to do this action did not stem from a passionate anger and unbridled, uncontrolled anger, which would indicated that he has no control over his desires, no control over his passions. On the contrary, Pinchas did this out cool, calm, and collectedly, and it was done with proper thought out. The seichel, he went to ask Moshe. The halacha over here is that kanoim poigim boy, right? The halacha is that those who are zealous are the ones to kill the person who's perpetrating such an act. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, "This, you're right. This is the halacha." And the reason why he went to ask Moshe first, because he shouldn't be moira halacha b'fnei rabbi. He shouldn't pass the halacha before his rebbe. And then he went ahead and did it. By the way, it comes out that it's interesting that what is a kanoi? Normally we associate somebody who's zealous, a zealot, right? We generally associate a zealot as somebody who does something out of passion, he's incensed by what's going on, and he does it, takes action, immediate action. That's not a zealot. That's somebody who has, he maybe certainly feel feelings of zealousness, but it's not the correct form of action. Somebody who's a kanoi, kino, right, as we see in the Rashi as well, kino is somebody who feels that it bothers him to the degree that he has to do something about it. He cannot let this, what's happening here, go on without any response. If something has to be done about it, We cannot let Zimri and go ahead and go and do whatever he's doing with this woman, right? And we cannot let it go by, because he's ruining Klal Yisrael. That's what Pinhas' svara was. This Zimri is ruining Klal Yisrael. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu gets so angry and incensed when there's immorality among Klal Yisrael, that if we let it go by, even Chas v'shalom, we're not doing it. We're not actually part of it. But we merely let it happen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Chas v'shalom will wipe out Klal Yisrael. We cannot let immorality happen in our midst, especially when it's a leader of one of the leaders of the Jewish people. So Pinhas felt this feeling of zealousness. I cannot let it go by. We've got to do something about it. But when he did something about it, it was done cool, calm, and collectively. It was not done out of passion. So it's important you say it. The kina is a feeling, a sense of being incensed. The person can be incensed by what's going on. But when he actually carries out, does something about it, it's done with seichel, with clear mind, cool, calm, and collectedly, properly done, with consulting with, if necessary, consulting with the leaders of Klal Yisrael. But it's nevertheless, it stems from feelings of bothers the person so much that's going on that cannot be, that this action cannot be let to go by. But when it actually is the act of zealousness is carried out, it's done level-headedly, cool, calm, and collectedly. Okay?
So I have a question, but I think we're also out of time.
Okay, you want to leave it for tomorrow then, Be'ezat Hashem?
Yeah. I just
Okay.
want to ask about the lineage. Tomorrow when we start off, I'd like to just ask a question about the lineage.
Okay, fine. Very good. Beseda. Okay, we'll stop it. Good.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, Ishkayak, very good. Have a good day.
You too. You will.